There we go. Off and running. Let's go. LFA 203 tonight. UFC 313 press conference just wrapped up. Gonna give it a listen. You can hear it in the background here. See if we get flagged for this or not. Be interesting to see. Very quietly listening to the press conference while we watch some fights. Pagata and Sandoval, both younger guys in their 20s. Ooh! Sandoval's heart going to the ground. Pagata's. He's all over him. Sandoval defensively wraps up the head and arms with the legs. Gets around. Nice job. Good sound defense on the ground there after getting dropped badly. Badly dropped.
And for our main event, with the light heavyweight championship up for grabs. Up to the stage first.
This is a fun one. They're kind of in a 50-50 position, north-south. Not quite north-south, man. I wouldn't say that.
He is unbeaten over his last 13 fights, and now
Sandoval's going for some kind of just fucking crank on the toes here. Nothing happened.
And the final man to make the walk. One of the most intimidating forces to ever step foot in the UFC. He defended his title 3 times in 2024 and finished all 3 opponents by knockout, propelling himself into superstardom. Now he looks to successfully defend his title for the 4th time in under a calendar year.
Pagata's just sitting in his guard. Sandoval's really going for it. And he just fucking tapped him out. What even just happened? Holy moly. Damn. He got dropped and then a minute later submits the guy. I wasn't really paying attention though.
Inside T-Mobile Arena, it is UFC 313, Pineda versus Ankalaev. All right, who has the first question? John Morgan, go.
All right.
Yes, sir. We'll start with Alex, please. Alex, a lot of people are saying that Magomed is actually the toughest opponent that you face stylistically at light heavyweight. Do you believe he's the toughest opponent you faced at 205 pounds? Why or why not?
Alex, muita gente está falando que o Magomed Ankalaev
Bro's crying in the cage. Sean Shelby's there, watching the fight, scouting it out.
Você acha que ele é o oponente mais difícil que você vai enfrentar agora?
Great win there. That was pretty impressive. Gets dropped, gets hurt badly, fights through the adversity. Picks up the win via submission. Wow. You know, this takes me to a point that I have on the Contender Series a lot of the times. Not all the time. But just because you get a finish does not mean that you deserve a contract with the UFC. If you fight hard, fight through adversity, put on a good fight, competitive, put on a good performance, get a finish, coming back from getting knocked down, or you come back and win on the scorecards after getting dropped or hurt at some point in your fight, that's more impressive to me than anything else. To fight through adversity. What Ilia Topuria had to do against Jai Herbert gets dropped by the head kick badly. Looks like he's finished, right? Fights back through adversity. Finishes him off in devastating fashion. Not just that he got a finish there, but the way that he had to fight back shows something. Sirogan, we've got problems with him now, but at the time when he got hurt by Tai Tuivasa, dropped, he showed that I can beat up more than just a Derek Lewis on the feet. Somebody who's just going to stand in front of me. I can do more than that. I have a chin, I can fight through it. Showed that he was tough in the Volkov fight as well. Volkov, I believe he won that fight. But Sirogan showed that he's got the toughness to hang in there and really throw down and fight. So we'll see what happens. But Jose Sandoval, 7-3 now. I'm impressed. Color me impressed. Gets dropped badly. stays defensively sound on the ground, unlike many fighters.
And as you said, simply can't
Young
look past
fighters
Saturday
coming
night,
up
but
right
I'm just
now.
curious, you talk about all the options on the table.
Gets a
Now we're
submission a
talking
minute
about
later.
boxing and everything, but
Fantastic.
do you believe you win this fight? There's anybody left for you to face at 205? Are there names you want in that division, or do you have to look to heavyweight or another combat sport?
Eu sei que você falou muita coisa, inclusive lutar boxe. Mas
All right.
eu sei que você está tentando não se adiantar, pensar
Let's
lá pra
see
frente,
what's
depois dessa
going
luta.
on.
Mas vamos dizer, você ganha no sábado. Tem mais alguém para você enfrentar na divisão? Falta alguém? O que acontece?
Fabiano and the Russian guy having a translate battle of the century right now in the press conference.
Ele era o oitavo do ranking, né? Mas a gente entregou uma super luta, uma grande luta, né? Então tem muitos lutadores, não importa qual é a colocação do ranking.
Should I just look at the clips on Twitter or listen to the entire thing? It's going to require me paying a lot of attention.
He was the 8th in the ranking, and look at the fight we delivered for you guys. So, listen, there's a lot of people out there that I can fight, and it doesn't matter their position in the ranking. They're tough, and I'll fight them.
O importante é estar lutando e dar o show para essa galera.
The important thing is to fight and to put on a show for all you guys. Shama.
And for Magomed, please. Magomed, a lot
Shama.
of discussion coming into this seems to be about whether you're going to stand or whether you're going to look to grapple against Alex. At the end of the day, you're just trying to win a championship belt. But
is Ankh gonna wrestle, or is he gonna try to strike with Poatan?
Я хочу сказать, по этому бою я вижу все против меня, как бы.
All right, LFA promoting 205 in Brazil.
Шамина время уже закончилось давно, мы это покажем в субботу ночью, вы это увидите. После этого боя вы
Right
меня
now,
полюбите,
we'll
это
see what
знаю,
happens there.
посмотрим.
That one's
I'd like to say that I see
end
that
of
in this
March,
fight,
LFA
everyone
205.
is against me. Everyone's saying Shama, Shama, Shama. But guess what? Shama time is over. After this Saturday night, after the fight, you will all love me.
Magomed says after this weekend, everybody saying Shama will love me.
What does it feel like to be booed up there?
Меня заряжает наоборот. Все против меня, я один. Будет очень жарко.
It motivates me, it charges me. Everyone's against me. I'm here by myself. It's going to be a really good fight.
And the last thing I have for you, Magomed, so close to winning the title in 2022. I know this is a different opponent, a different fight, but what's the biggest lesson you took out of that night to make sure you don't leave disappointed on Saturday?
OnlyFans. Hell yeah.
As a UFC announcer with a front row seat, I've been known
Thanks,
to
John Anik. Anybody out there got the John Anik app? You know, technology behemoth.
Прошлый бой
John Anik taken to the App Store.
кто выиграл в том бою, но получилось так, что сделали ничего. Ну, а теперь это второй шанс, второй бой.
Magomed talking it up at the press conference today.
С чемпионом, который долгое время оберегала UFC.
All right, bantamweight fight.
Чемпион, по идее,
Ah, yes,
сказать
ladies, of
спасибо
course.
Dana White за то, что его оберегли
One
столько
girl's a
времени.
minus 1,000 favorite.
Мы ждем
3-0.
этого момента.
I wasn't upset about the last fight.
Mm.
I have nobody to blame. It's
Tough.
just myself. We saw the fight. The whole world saw the fight, but it happened the way it
Don't
happened.
care.
Now it's a whole
Don't care.
different ball game. It's a
It is what it
different
is.
fight. It's a different opponent.
It is
You know
what it is.
Honestly, he should say thank you to Dana White for protecting him this whole time. Now
What
it's
else is
gonna be a
going on?
whole different thing.
PFL announces they're going to have a new bracket reveal show for the upcoming tourneys at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, March 11th. Will air on ESPN Plus. The show will be hosted by Sean O'Connell and Dan Hardy. Andy Hickey with some comments. Let's see what else the comments section says on Luke Thomas's post. Nothing. Nothing at all. PFL, no interest. Obviously, no interest in the PFL. Nobody does. Even Luke Thomas's YouTube page gets less
Yeah, I mean, I know a bunch of people had already bought
less
tickets,
views than you would
and,
think
know,
for
you
this
guys
one.
put me and this guy on the card, which we have been quite a few times. It's a great night, and
All right, 2025 PFL World Tournament Bracket Reveal Show, fueled by Valor. All 32 first-round matchups unveiled for high-stakes single elimination tournament beginning on April 3rd.
you know, he had a little bit of a setback. You
not giving the fighters a whole lot of time. I'm sure they probably know what the matchups are, unless it's a true pick'em, which would be cool.
Yeah, I just love to be in there. Coming off a knockout like this.
You know how Bellator did their tournaments
I just want to get back in there. I want to fight.
last couple years, where they came out on the show and they picked the date they were fighting and I believe who they were fighting, depending on where your lottery ticket came, where you pulled from the lottery there.
What type of Justin Gaethje can fans expect on Saturday?
I mean, the same thing. I mean, when
Man, this woman right here, LFA right now.
The mindset that I have when I go in there.
The blue and yellow, very serious.
I fell into it. Maybe
very weird.
If I don't get hit, then I can last longer. Blah blah blah. But you have to be willing to take the risks.
Interesting by the PFL there. Interesting stuff
there. That was my favorite part of the whole thing when I first started.
I don't think I've talked about this at all.
13 years ago, how dangerous it is, and I kind of forgot that a little bit. And again, getting knocked out like that, I'm excited. I'm going to be scared. It's going to be intense, and I'm pumped. I'm ready to go.
The question for Rafael, all the way in the back, right here.
All right, Bahumba's in the LFA corner of this one girl right now. Both these girls 3-0 allegedly, so we'll see how that plays out. Anyway, Mark Shapiro, president of TKO. Technically, I believe he's like 1 or 2 steps above Dana White.
Oh, thank you. Do ooh for me, guys. I appreciate it. And
what the fuck, dog? And I'm a defender of the Apex if used properly.
Yeah. And yes, I'm coming from across of the world. And
if used properly, the Apex can work, but this is not cool.
It's like a miracle. And our UFC 313 is like special number for us, for Muslims.
This dude is a fool. When you're watching on TV, you're watching the UFC on TV, you can't tell if you're in a stadium or an arena, or you're at the small but mighty Apex here in Las Vegas. Fuck off, dude. What are you talking about? The energy, the excitement, the charisma that the fighters bring to the table, the energy the fighters bring to the table, everything about the Apex dampens the excitement, dampens the energy, dampens all the emotion, dampens everything about fighting. Think about the Coliseum. Was the Coliseum built in the Emperor's basement? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. The Coliseum is a grand stage, the grandest stage of them all, right? What are we talking about?
Jalen, for yourself, you've had so many great nights at the T-Mobile. It's always exciting. What can fans expect from you?
Ridiculous.
Out there on Saturday?
They can expect fireworks. I always bring the fight. Every time my name is on the card.
Immediately, comment section. On TV, you can't tell you're in the Apex. Incorrect. But thank you. You absolute buffoon. Somebody says, hate to say, but last name checks out. Early life, all right. It's an absolute lie. There's nothing like a thunderous crowd as 2 warriors throw down in the cage. Yeah, man. That's what it's all about. Doesn't have to be anything else but that. Tom Nolan might have some fight news. Victor Hugo took out Mickey Rod, calling out Gordon Ryan. Interesting. Fight Pass Invitational tonight as well. Good stuff.
Does that give you more bargain power for you to get something and negotiate something for you?
Josh Hockett, former NFL player of sorts. I don't remember which team. Oh, very nice. Poetan taking out Michailidis a couple years ago. Victor Hugo, here he is. Submission over Nicky Rod. Watch this.
That makes it so much easier. Listen, the organization shows it. They've said it to me directly. They like what I'm doing. They like the fights that I'm putting
He's got the back. Locked in. Throwing the arm under the neck. Puts the squeeze on him. Takes him out of position.
As a UFC announcer with a front row seat, I've been known to get pretty excited.
Yep, Nicky Rod taps away. Wow.
And with this latest
Alex, tem uma história sua, você sempre foi muito aberto para falar sobre isso, sobre sua história com álcool no passado no Brasil. E é uma história muito famosa no Brasil.
What else is going on?
Minha pergunta é quando Ankalaev citou esse tema.
LFA 203 women's fight's about to get underway.
É um tema mais delicado.
Oh well.
And Alex, you've been really open about your past with alcohol in Brazil. People, it's well known and well documented. You've been open-hearted about this. When Ankalaev mentioned that,
Colby and Bobby Nux
did it hit you really hard? Do you think that's a one more
linking up for some content here? Not sure what the heck they were doing, but we'll take a listen.
And then the main event, we got Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. Who you got, champ?
It's so hard. So hard to pick, like, because either Pereira knocks him out or he gets held down for 5 rounds and loses. I'm gonna go.
So Colby's
I'm
obviously in Vegas, part of the training squad of Chael Sonnen and the next season of The Ultimate Fighter. They're filming now with DC and Chael going at each other, good guy versus bad guy.
And he was talking earlier
Colby's
on the Ultimate
in
Fighter said
town
about his calf
helping
kicks.
Chael train for
Yeah,
his
I'm gonna
bad
go
guy.
Pereira, just because like every fight, every round starts on their feet, and Pereira hits so hard. And I'm sure he's done stuff to try and counter some form of wrestling.
And he was talking earlier on the Ultimate Fighter said about his calf kicks. He has very good calf kicks.
Oh, mate.
He doesn't show them. He just snaps them and they're there. So I'm going to go Alex Pereira too.
I will say though, like Ankalaev's a southpaw. Maybe that affects his calf kick a little bit.
He'd have to go front leg lead for the calf kick.
Yeah, isn't he doing Ramadan? I heard a rumor that he's not going to hydrate after weighing in. With mad respect, but it's so rough.
That plays a big factor in it.
Yeah,
That's a good
massive.
point, the Ramadan.
Respect though, all the matter.
Yeah, big respect. Big respect.
The Ramadan.
Come on, channel. Give us some picks today, man.
Thank you very
That's
much.
Awesome. Thank you. Shout out to Robert Whitaker, former champ, first ballot Hall of Famer in the UFC. This guy will go down in the legend books as one of the greatest middleweights of all time. We appreciate him, having him on the channel.
Colby's running like a Twitch stream or some crazy shit like that nowadays, dude. He can't put one fucking sentence together. He can come up with good liners, like one-liners, scripted stuff, but bro cannot go off the cuff at all. Very awkward in front of the camera. Obviously, we've heard for years that he's a nice guy behind the scenes. There's videos out there. Colby seems like a really nice guy. It's just the whole character he puts on. It's a little bit messy. But you know what? Credit to him. Robert Whitaker's appearing on the live stream with Colby Covington. All right, tomorrow, UFC 314 press conference. Alex Volkanovski, Diego Lopez, Chandler, Patty, Yair, Patricio, Pitbull, Bryce, Mitchell. Ooh, this is going to be heated. Gene Silva, Carlos Prates of the Fighting Nerds, and then finally Jeff Neal. 3 p.m. Pacific. What is that? 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's going to be fucking crazy. See what else is going on. Looks like we might have submission on the women's side of thing in the LFA. All right. Oh, well. All right. Wonder Boy breaks down his fighting style on the Jackson podcast.
Few different ways, few different styles people have when it comes to fighting, right? More of a boxing style, which is here. You got like more of the weight on the back foot, kind of like a Muay Thai type style. I'm more of like a 50-50. Not leaning here, but here, because I can put my hands on you and I can use my lead leg just as easy.
But the bouncing style of like this kind of like attack-based karate method, which is not just like a standard karate, it comes from a more dynamic approach, right? Like being able to pop in and out.
We call this an open stance, right? This is a closed stance. Got it. So there's some things that I do this side that I don't do when we're in an open stance. I fight both sides. And the reason I do that, I feel like I have more weapons in my arsenal, and I'm able to spread out the damage as well.
This is really cool and all, and it's definitely helpful for anyone who doesn't know anything about striking at all. It's just funny and it's like interesting for fans and like for content consumers. It's just funny that the guy Bear that hosts this talks about MMA for a living and has no idea what like an open stance, a closed stance, the difference between a Muay Thai stance and a kickboxing stance, and the differences between kickboxing and karate, taekwondo. Like it's all just, he just does it for fun. And, you know, I'm sitting here doing this for fun. Nobody's fucking watching this shit. I'm just rambling. But how do you run one of the biggest MMA podcasts in the world and you don't know shit about fighting at all? Seems silly, man. Here's more.
Wonder Boy! How you get that name?
Good grief. Who was screaming in the background there?
Wonder Boy.
Man, okay. So I've got like 2 brothers and 2 sisters. My dad fought back in the 70s and 80s, kickboxing. And living in his household, it was mandatory for us growing up that we had to train. If we were living in his house, we were training. No ifs, ands, or buts, mandatory. So I started, of course, our style was karate, like a Kempo style, which is pretty much everything. Striking, kicking, punching, 99.9% of the time in a street situation, you end up on the ground. So, but I put all that in the back burner, especially in the 90s, because MMA wasn't as big. It was kickboxing. So my dad fought kickboxing. My older sister fought kickboxing. So they were kind of my inspiration to go to kickboxing. I had my first fight at 15 years old. And I thought I sucked at kickboxing because my sister used to beat the crap out of me all the time. All the time. Oh, yeah. Just make me cry, bro.
Wow.
All the time.
I wouldn't say I would.
Big sis whooping ass on Wonder Boy. Is it weird that I'm not surprised by that? I don't know.
Out of me.
Batman couldn't get that information out of me.
Bro, I grew up with it, you know? And I mean, she was the alpha dog for the longest. And so I thought I was terrible. Here I am getting my...
Round 2 LFA women's fight. Style clash is interesting. Striker versus grappler here. See how it plays out second round.
Butt kicked by this girl, but my dad had me fight this guy. He was like 26. I think he was 20-0 in kickboxing. Kind of threw me to the dogs on that one. I guess it was a way for him to show me that I was better than what I thought I was. I ended up beating the brakes off the guy. And afterwards, the commentator was like, yo, he was talking to my opponent. What you think about this Stephen Thompson kid? And he's like, man, I wondered why I even stepped in the ring with this boy. And the announcer called me Wonder Boy, and it just stuck with me ever since.
Wow.
So he's fighting guys that are 10 years older than him. He's like 16, 17, getting into fighting. He's fighting 26, 25, 27-year-olds. And Wonder Boy is his nickname now. Was then, still is today. So here we had a Russian media member in support of Ankalaev. Shocker to see this, but Pereira stares him down at the press conference.
Send him back working in the tire shop.
I don't even know if he's looking at the guy. We don't know if he's actually looking at the guy or not, but it sure looks like he's very angry that he would ask a question like that.
Working in the tire shop.
Jeez. Stone cold, bro. That's just some funny editing, to be fair. All right, Nate Diaz getting some respect on the Jackson podcast, as he should.
Because it's Japan. I didn't think America would see it.
But that's the thing. That's what makes you, bro. Like that's you, man. It's like I respect like Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
Because he ain't changed for nobody.
No.
Yeah, he's not pretending to be somebody he's not.
He's real. He's OG right there.
Right.
He's
one
real.
of the best. And that's why I respect that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like that. You know, the guys. Obviously, it's a business. Obviously, everybody's trying to be the Conor McGregor. But you know who's real and who ain't.
Yeah.
And you got to respect that.
Man.
And the fans can tell, too. That's a big thing when you get into the sport. Are you going to like the characters? Can you separate the characters from the person who is behind the character? Colby's a big one that people can't seem to separate the character of Colby Covington and the actual person. They don't even know where it stops and where the other ends. It's a sacrifice you make, man. LFA's live. Yep, we're watching it. Something's happened. Oh, up kick right in the fucking eye. Damn, son. Good grief, she hit her right on the lower part of the eye socket there. Damn. Fight's probably over. On the ground, though, so it's illegal. Fantastic. Love to see that. Watching LFA. There's the women's fight I'm talking about. Don't really care about it much, though. See what happens. One championship card. Friday morning. Not too far away from this one, actually. 7:30 Eastern time. Kevin Church coming out of the United States, I believe. Any other Americans on it? Nah, not really. It'll be fun to watch, dude. These cards are there's always something fucking crazy that happens during these fights. Always something crazy goes down on the One Championship Friday Night Fights cards. Dude, she took a heel. This girl's throwing an up kick. She's on the ground. And just takes a heel straight to the eye. Just, the up kicks when they're just swinging wild. Just whoosh. Just imagine this. I got the hammer. And it just right there. Heel right in the eye socket. Devastating. But illegal. So, of course, something that would have ended a fight now is turned into a controversy. And she's likely not coming back for that. Justin Gaethje, this could be a tougher matchup than the Dan Hooker fight was. Fiziev 100% top of the game striker. And then Rafael responds, there will be blood everywhere. Hope this time it's not only my blood going everywhere. Bilal Muhammad responds to the UFC taking off the Palestinian flag from the fighter website. This is interesting.
Because Dana said,
let's take a listen.
Keep asking me, where's your flag? I started getting multiple messages from it, and I was just assuming it was a mistake, but it's still not addressed. So I'll address it and hope that Dana addresses it as well, fixes it, because Dana said he's all about free speech. He's all about people supporting who they want to support and not muting or silencing anybody. So I'm hoping that the UFC fixes this issue and puts my flag next to my name, so the people that I represent, the people that I fight for, and the people that I train for will.
Dana said he's all about free speech. I'm hoping the UFC fixes this. Bilal says he doesn't have his flag under his name anymore. Of course, all the online chatter is that the UFC is owned by Ari Emanuel, who is of Jewish descent, and maybe there's some issues there between them. I don't know what's going on. Bilal, of course, I don't think he's a supporter of the military group over there in Palestine. He just wants the people to be safe, doesn't want the innocent people being killed anymore. Give him his fucking flag. Who fucking cares? He's obviously not as stupid as a Bryce Mitchell, for example, so we'll just let him have the flag, man. If you're going to let Bryce Mitchell fight, which, I don't care, again, it's me, but let Bilal have his flag. It's not like he's doing anything wrong with the fucking flag. What the hell's the flag even doing wrong? It's his country. Now, he's not really, he is of Palestinian descent. However, I don't believe that he grew up there or was raised there. So he's not really, born and bred. It's kind of like the Izzy, Kamaru situation, except in those situations, they were raised there for quite a bit. Drickus kind of called them fake African champions because he actually trains in Africa, grew up in Africa, trains in Africa, born and bred. There's a big difference between I grew up for a couple months or a couple years somewhere, and then I moved away, and now I train at one of the best gyms in New Zealand. No. Drickus fought through the regional scene in South Africa, trained in the regional scene, fought there, went back to the gym, which lives in South Africa. Okay? Drickus lives there himself every day. Wakes up and breathes South African air. He just contested that Izzy and Kamaru are not of the same ilk. And he never really said anything about Francis either, because Francis did grow up for until he was well into adulthood in Cameroon, right? Escaped, trained in France a little bit. Then he came over to Vegas. He didn't really say much about Francis because Francis became an adult and then left. He didn't just leave when he was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Like, he spent a majority of his early life there. Fight Oracle. Usually on some good stuff here. He's born in Chicago. He's an American. Now, I get it, but there's many other fighters that didn't actually, grow up where their flag is. Mario Pinto or whatever, whoever, I believe that's his name, fought last week. Trains in England, has an English accent. He's got the, Portuguese flag. All right. Whatever. Kevin K. Crazy Kev. Ankh, Fazeev, Kanaev. All right. So, not really sure where we're going with that, but all right. Here's the main event stare-off. Check a look at this. Alex wearing a very weird outfit here. LFA 207, April 18th. They're cutting through these events. I like it. Fighting every week almost. LFA is. Bilal training with Yair. All right. Evan Meguru, red alert. Sound the horns. Ring the alarm. Pereira and Ankalaev, you thought that was boring tonight? Well, tomorrow, Bryce Mitchell is going to be live at the UFC press conference. Cinema. I don't know how it can't be, bro. I don't know how this ain't going to be fun as hell. It's going to be crazy. Patty, dude, the beef between Patricio, Pitbull, and Yair right now, the former beef between Pitbull and Chandler, the current animosity that Patty and Chandler probably have for each other, Diego Lopez getting in there on the action too with Yair potentially, and the fight that fell through there, Bryce Mitchell, Gene Silva not liking each other. I mean, dude, this could get fucking crazy. Huge lineup. Just let them talk for 2 or 3 hours. Don't even give them questions. Don't even have to prompt them. Just let them go in there and do it. Just let them go in there and talk. Let them all talk. Let everybody have their 5 minutes and then open it up for responses from the fighters. Hilarious. I always like to look at the comments. So this confirms that Ilya is not stepping in for Chandler or Pat. Who the fuck was going to step? What are they talking about? People will look very small compared to Yair. Yeah, dude's tiny. Bryce Mitchell with access to a mic, Lord have mercy. Dude, this is going to be hilarious, bro. Tomorrow, very early. Can't wait. It's going to be wild. I'm already rock hard ready for it. Crazy card. Please let this card happen without cancellations. It's going to be one of the best cards of the year, no question. No question there. Ilya Topuria also earlier saying he's got some fight news coming soon. When he reveals it, it's going to be some of the biggest, most surprising things you'll ever see, you'd ever heard of. I see people saying Connor moving down to 155 is looking slimmer these days. I don't know about that. I just saw him a week or two ago at the bare knuckle. He didn't look very slim to me, but say what you will, I guess. Whatever. It is what it is, I don't know. Connor at 170, people were saying. Ilya Topuria's Twitter. Let's pull it up. When we announce it, you won't believe it. Get ready. Ilia Topuria teasing his next UFC fight at lightweight. Big-time stuff. Vacated the featherweight title. Volkanovski and Diego Lopez will be fighting for it on April 12th. Big-time matchup. UFC 314. Huge card main evented by the featherweight title between Volkanovski and Diego Lopez after Ilia drops the belt. Crazy stuff. Crazy turn of events here. Ilia now saying that we will announce it soon, and you won't believe it. What does this mean? No idea, but let's look at the comments, see what people are saying about it. Definitely Islam co-main event to Jones versus Aspinall. That's something that would be unbelievable because those are two of the biggest fights that you can make right now, and putting them on the same card is fucking nuts. I don't think they'll do that. What the fuck am I immediately thinking? Conor McGregor coming back. Said it might not be for an immediate title shot with Ilia. Could it be Conor McGregor? I don't know. Patricio Pitbull's at the LFA right now. Let's take a listen. Everybody's in town. So Alan Jobin on commentary. Patricio said he's ready to go, still healthy. Patricio saying he wants to fight 3 times a year potentially, or at least Alan Jobin's calling him out, saying you want to fight 3 times a year, get these knocked out in your old age. Patricio's like, I don't know about that. But he definitely wants to fight. Now he's coming to the UFC, going to be fighting on that 314 card, absolutely loaded there. And he's going to be at the press conference tomorrow. He's got some beef brewing with his opponent Yair already. Obviously fought Michael Chandler, knocked him out, but Michael Chandler knocked out his other brother, Patricky, in a fight. So there's bad blood brewing there. Interesting stuff. Ilia Topuria in a Daredevil teaser. All right, cool. Obviously, Ilia edits aplenty. You can't miss them. They're always around. Anyway, LFA co-main event coming up next. We'll see how that one plays out. Let's take a listen back to the Puri fight press conference.
Maybe a more delicate, more sensitive subject than others.
While we go through the LFA card, see what happens there. But yeah, man, Ilia Topuria. Most Instagram followers, active male champions. Obviously, Ilia's not on this list. Somebody like a Hamzat, who's very popular, has a lot of followers. I believe over 9 million followers for Hamzat Chimaev. He's not even champion. Islam with 9.9. John Jones, 9.5 million. John Jones is... They push him as such a big star in the UFC, and yet he's only got 9.5 million followers. A little bit surprised there. Somebody like Habib, pretty big star, clocks in at like 1820, I believe. Conor, of course, much more popular than that even. Alex Pereira, 6.6. I mean, this guy is the face of the UFC right now. Marab, 1.4. Bilal, just under 1 million. Dricus, hovering around 750. Pantoja, not even cracking 400,000 followers. Interesting stuff. Where's Conor, man? Well, active champions. That's a list of active champions. Conor ain't no champion for sure. He ain't active, that's for sure.
Listen, I can't talk too much. Let's leave it for Saturday. I got my plans.
Bilal, of course. Free speech. Where we at, Dana? Let me use my flag.
And a question for Rafael. Rafael, last time you came out
Understandable. Understandable, of course. All right, Cristiano.
What adjustments have you made to secure the victory this time around?
11-6 coming into this LFA matchup going down right now. Co-main event.
Smash my face.
See how it goes.
For his hand. And just go forward and like every time he makes
Fiziev said we're gonna smash his face.
Like on the rock and roll. So this time I plan to change it. I have to follow my game plan.
Gonna have to follow the game plan a little more there, obviously.
Yeah, but it's hard to say. It's hard to say. When I hear some energy, what we see now, it's hard to stay cold and not going forward and not make some crazy stuff. But I have to.
Fiziev loves a fight. Obviously, comes from a Muay Thai background. Loves to fight. Said he got carried away. Started just throwing down with Gaethje, and that was a mistake.
As a UFC announcer with a front
I don't know.
row
I
seat,
think
I've been
Fiziev won that fight.
Go ahead. You good? You good? Yeah, Mike, go
I
ahead.
just need somebody to explain to me how he didn't win the fight.
win this
Put the more damaging shots on Justin Gaethje. Listen, was he cut up? Did he look more beat up? Yes, but who put the shots on who? GSP, Johnny Hendricks. GSP, Carlos Condit. Who looked more beat up in that fight?
Bom, para mim tem grande importância. Eu sempre já falei
Who looked beat up?
de quando eu cheguei.
Certain guys cut up, bruise, easier than others. Gaethje's got that half Mexican background, dude's tough as nails. Soft skin, doesn't cut easy. It's like a genetic thing, I swear. It's absolutely insane because some guys just don't get hurt the same way others do. Don't show it the way others do. Obviously, if you've got the pale skin, when you throw a kick and it slaps really hard, it's going to show those red marks. Are they as damaging as a deep thudding kick with the shin? No. The shin to the ribs hurts more than just the slapping foot. But it looks worse after the fact. Depending on your skin tone, depending on where you're from, how you're built, all that stuff can play into effect.
Trying to take your motivation away. Naysayers, they're trying to put you down. Don't believe him, keep doing, believe in yourself, and we're going to get done.
And speaking of motivation, Alex, yesterday Dana White said with the right type of win on Saturday, you could be #1 pound for pound. What do you think he's looking for?
Alex could be pound for pound if he wins on Saturday night. That'd be interesting. Obviously, jumping up above John Jones. Islam Makhachev's #1 right now. They moved John Jones out of #1, put in Islam Makhachev, and Alex Pereira could jump up in front of him. Crazy turn of events considering Dana White's rampage against everyone but John Jones as of late. Obviously, will the Tom Aspinall-John Jones fight get put together? I'm not so sure. I won't believe it till I see it in the cage. John Jones is the type of guy to pull out and ruin an entire event because he wants a specific opponent. Wants to be able to train and perfect his game, which I understand. But guys like Justin Gaethje, Renato Moicano, Fiziev, these guys go down in history as absolute badasses to the hardcore fans when you pull up and take fights on short notice. When you get a change of opponents, will you continue to step in there and show up for the fans? That shit matters. John Jones, will he go down as the GOAT? Of course, they're going to push that. Was he the GOAT? I don't think so. Not to mention, fail the drug test. That should probably immediately disqualify you. But if it doesn't, obviously, he's one of the best to ever do it. The resume stacks up. But when and where was he beating those guys? A lot of those guys were older than you think they were when he defeated them. Lyoto Machida, Shogun. Just look back. Just look back. Use your brain. 34-year-old, been through wars, fought at middleweight his entire career, moves up, fights John Jones. How many times did that happen? Quite a few. Co-main event underway. LFA 203.
Isso aí consolida você. Uma vitória
no sábado. Não, não sei.
I don't know.
one for Justin. Even though this is a rematch, how do you feel coming into this
Scoreboard's looking real tight down there for the LFA. Davlat Muradov barely fits in the scoreboard there, red corner.
It's a special place to be. I'm only up here because I've been a petty dude, for big parts of my life. I take shit personal, and that's it's just extra motivation. I'm excited.
Justin Gaethje takes stuff personal, petty guy. Seems pretty nice. I don't know about petty. Pretty respectable. Froelich looks very, very much a fast twitch guy. Davlat Muradov on the back foot now.
Even though you've taken this fight on short notice.
I'm shocked, honestly. Like I'm lost two twice. I'm after injury. I'm long time no fight, and I'm still favorite. That's okay.
Fiziev is the favorite in the fight. Can you believe that on late notice? This guy's stepping in, and he is the favorite. Even he doesn't know what to believe. Late notice, lost his last two, coming off an injury, and this guy's a large favorite over Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, of course, coming off the knockout loss to Max Holloway, UFC 300. That was absolutely nasty, disgusting. Dude was rolled up, spasming. They just showed the footage of that last week. UFC released it. Terrible, terrible knockout. That's got to be why Justin Gaethje believes the same thing. That is exactly why I am the underdog. Got knocked the hell out in his last fight. Fiziev lost, but it was an injury loss. TKO due to injury, technically. And the Gaethje fight was really tight, really closely contested. A lot of people thought that Fiziev won, myself included. Davlat Muradov got him pinned up against the cage here.
I'm gonna go in English now. So now they know it's gonna great fight for me. It's a great experience for me, for Chile, for Latin America, for my whole country, and that's what I bring to the table: the Latin American power. A guy who is gonna go forward, and it's not.
Baja Mendez is going now. Obviously, guy trains with Bilal. Bilal's training with Yair. Yair training with Baja Mendez a little bit, I'm sure. Striking it out, throwing shit down. Interesting stuff. Jalen Turner, Ignacio Baja Mendez, not getting a lot of questions, but the two giants of the lightweight division, both 6'3", clashing in the pay-per-view this weekend. Great striking style matchup. Going to be super fun, all action. Somebody's likely going to sleep. Somebody is likely going to get their lights shut the fuck out. What site for listening? Pedro. Pre-fight press conference, and I probably just got flagged for like whatever you call it. I'll turn it up a little bit. But I'm also watching LFA. I just turned this on to listen in case I stop talking for a minute during the LFA. So UFC 313 pre-fight press conference on YouTube is where we're listening to that. Go check it out. It wasn't super eventful though, so hard to say I recommend you go check it out. But we're listening. I'm watching LFA on Fight Pass right now. Co-main event. 40 seconds left in the round. Davlat Muradov just sitting on top, not doing very much damage at all. The regional stuff, it's either fantastic, lots of finishes, lots of fun fights, or they're just awful. This card is tough. Been tough to watch. The Sandoval was pretty impressive. Dude gets dropped, scrambles around, kind of fights for a 50-50 position on the ground, north-south almost, switches down to the legs. The guy on top had like no grappling ability. Dude survives and then submits him via heel hook. I mean, just fantastic shit from Jose Sandoval earlier on the LFA card. Dude's 7-3 now. Sean Shelby's at the card, scouting stuff out. Patricio Pitbull, of course, hanging out at the fights. Marab was there. Sean O'Malley's there. Lots of fighters hanging out. Alan Joban on the call. Good stuff. Good fun stuff tonight. LFA. Yeah. Card's not been great, but it's fights, man. I mean, you get what you get what you get. You can get what you can take and get what you can watch live, you know. But we're also listening to the pre-fight presser for UFC 313. Not super eventful, but Magomed Ankalaev definitely answering as many questions as he can, playing devil's advocate to Alex Pereira. Whenever there's some kind of answer, he's always coming back with something, and he's playing the heel, which is good. Kind of feeding into it a little bit.
Everything is Allah's will. The Almighty gives the life, and the Almighty takes the life away. So if we get the victory, of course, we're going to dedicate it to him, and I promise you we'll do anything we can.
Round 2. Javlet Moradov coming forward. Frolik a little bit more on the back foot, but he looks fine. Not too exhausted. Still twitchy. Still fast. John Anik hosting the post-fight presser, or the pre-fight presser. I just realized. Interesting, Dana White's not there. Power slap taking up too much of his time, or was it the boxing? I mean, come on. Javlet Moradov gets another takedown. Probably going to ride out the rest of the round. Am I going to give up on this fight? I don't know. Tough, man. Tough. Just not even going to fight it. Not even going to try to get up. What are we doing? Jalen Turner's turning the beast mode on for his next fight. Paulo Costa getting active on Twitter again. Magomed humiliated Alex. He kind of did, bro. He kind of did. Threw a couple jabs in there. Take a listen to some of the clips from it. I thought it was pretty funny, man. Magomed definitely played into the villain. I mean, look at the guy right there. Magomed's going to chin him, bro. We talked about this. I don't know if he's going to get to him. I don't know if he's going to get to him on the feet, but he definitely can on the ground. And listen, if he mixes it up and gets Alex Pereira scared of the takedown, throws a 1-2 straight down the pipe, you never know. You never know. Alex and Geary from Wish at the 313 press conference. Facing off, fighting in the crowd. Dude, all they got to do is fight right there. That's awesome. The second UFC cameraman picked this guy up on screen. I had the question for Magomed Ankalaev, cousins or cousins, not lovers. Jesus. I don't care about myself. Don't need to see that. Israel did put him to sleep, man. Israel did put him to sleep. But it was a drained Pereira, bro. It was a drained Pereira. That's the thing. Is there a difference? Does he have a better chin here? Took some shots by Khalil. Justin Gaethje's the most exciting fighter. Absolutely. The human highlight reel. Yep. I mean, what else can you say about him? I can't even remember the last time Gaethje was in a bad fight. Going to 314 in Miami. Goated card, bro. You see the press conference tomorrow? You going to tune in for that? Loaded. Got the entire... Is that the entire main card? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, it is. Dude. Bryce Mitchell. Whew. You watch MMA Guru? Sometimes, man. Sometimes. I like him. I think he's funny for sure. Interesting character. Do I agree with everything he says? No, but I enjoy listening when I can because it's funny. Just is what it is. Justin versus Michael Johnson was so good. Dude. Got Yair by TKO. He's going to be a lot bigger than Patricio in this one. Patricio still got that KO power, brother. That power carries with you for a long time. You know this. Power's kind of the last thing to go. Patricio's 37, kind of at the tail end of his career, doesn't really have much to gain anymore. Is he just going to throw everything out, ditch the game plan, and just swing hands? It's entirely possible. Is he going to go the Michael Chandler route and try to just win by exciting fashion, or, like a Justin Gaethje, live by the sword, die by the sword? Justin Gaethje, Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson was this close to winning that fight, bro. Just saying. Yeah, he beat the fuck out of Josh Emmett. Did that even go into the second round? I can't remember, but good grief, yeah, man. On the feet and on the ground, just destroyed Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett's one of the tough guys, dude. Also beat the fuck out of Dan Hooker a while back. Dude, Yair, I mean, he's definitely hit or miss. He's either like on it or he's not. I mean, look at this guy's resume. I mean, he's been around for forever. Yair, they made him fight BJ Penn at one point. I mean, it was just like, what are we doing? Yeah, man. Was that his first fight in the UFC? Nope. No, because he was on The Ultimate Fighter. I forget about this. Charles Rosa, Dan Hooker, Andre Feely, Alex Caceres, and then BJ Penn. BJ Penn on the tail end, of course. I was there live in the crowd in Jacksonville. Ilya beat the fuck out of Josh. That was wild. That was really surprising. And the fact that Ilya, again, was able to last the whole 5 rounds with him, crazy. Dan Hooker's maybe taking the most damage out of anyone. Yair striking is sick as KO over Andre Feely. Every time this guy goes in there and gets a knockout, it's fantastic. Dude is just a highlight reel. KO over Zombie. Dude, literally at 0, at the buzzer. That might have been the first, at the buzzer, at the end of the fight, knockout. You just thought, you'll never see anything like that. Hell yeah, Ilya smashed Josh Emmett. Dude absolutely fucked him up. And I couldn't believe it, how he was able to hang in there for 5 rounds, take some shots, and then land back on Josh Emmett. I mean, Josh Emmett, absolute monster, carries his power all the way through the fight. Yeah, dude, 50-42, man. Wow. Was it 50-42? It was. There were multiple 10-8 rounds. Macy Barber, Amanda Ribas. I'll be honest with you, I don't remember that one. Tapori, Islam soon, Jones, Tom soon. You think so? You think that's Ilya's special announcement? Special announcement? He said, "We are not going to believe it when we see it." Ilya Taporia. I don't know, man. People are saying it's going to be Conor McGregor or something. I don't know. Who knows? Hard to say. Jeremy Stevens killed Josh Emmett. That was a nasty finish. But again, Josh Emmett, always in there. It's either the Macy head kicker. Dude, I don't even remember that fight, bro. Why am I not remembering that fight? Yes, I do. He's going to KO Islam. I think Tom's going to take out Jones, too. I think John's done for. And I think the UFC knows that. I think that's why they're trying to promote John Jones so heavily. Because the moment that Tom Aspinall takes him out. Because, listen, you can only build up Tom Aspinall to the casual crowd so much, right? You really, the casuals aren't in on Tom Aspinall yet. But if you can build up John Jones, who's in the casuals' attention. He's within their reach, within their grasp. John Jones, familiar name. Tom Aspinall isn't in that fully casual, crossed over into the mainstream yet. And yeah, man, Tom could KO anybody, and I think he's going to do it against John Jones, and I think the UFC knows that that's going to happen. I think the UFC's betting on Tom Aspinall winning, so they're going to promote John Jones so that John Jones' star power is bigger than it's ever been for this fight, right? That's what Dana White's goal is, so that when Tom Aspinall goes in there and knocks him the fuck out in 5 minutes, now you've got the biggest star, the goat of the sport. That's going to be Tom Aspinall, man. That's what Dana White and the whole UFC's betting on right now. That we hype up John Jones the most we possibly can, get his star bigger than it's ever been, and then Tom Aspinall goes in there, takes him out with ease. Bye-bye, John Jones. No more of the John Jones bullshit, and Tom Aspinall is your new GOAT. That's why they're pushing so hard with the John Jones stuff. Topuria will KO Islam. He just has to land a clean shot. Obviously, yes, man. Dude's got hella power. And my only hesitation, though, so short. Is he really 155 frame? Jai Herbert fight. Short notice. Got head kicked. Volk, similar height. Islam, head kick over Volk. Remember that? I don't know. That's a fucking banger of a fight, though. 2 fights I'm really looking forward to. You think John Jones is the GOAT? I don't know. It's hard to say. Look back at his wins. Man. A lot of smaller guys that he was fighting, that's for sure. That's for darn sure. That's all I'm going to say. Jones just had a brutal KO over DC. Yeah, man. Yeah, dude, that stuff, Stipe, the way he was beating up Stipe on the ground, vicious stuff. The finish over DC, very impressive, yep. Ruled a no contest, of course. How many times did this guy pop? But yeah, some of those shots that Stipe was taking, and he was just kind of like looking up at John Jones like nothing was happening to him. Insane. Stipe, tough as a motherfucker, obviously firefighter. John Jones smash gone. Dude, I don't know. You think Cyril Gane through that fight? I think Cyril Gane just sucks on the ground. In all honesty, he just gave it up. Didn't even know what to do. I don't know. Knocking out Cyril Gane on the feet is more impressive to me than just shooting a takedown. Finishing there. It says no contest, but we know what happened. He fucked Daniel up. Right, but the dude's been juicing pretty much his entire career, you know. Shogun was a beatdown. Right, but again, how old was Shogun at that point? How many wars had he gone through? Shogun was never the same after that. Quentin Jackson, same thing. Rampage, obviously. Older at that point in his career. Lyoto Machida, older at that point in his career. Rashad Evans, kind of on the downswing there. Vitor Belfort. Chael. A lot of these guys are 185ers moving up. A lot of these guys were much smaller than John Jones. Who did he fight that had the same size? Somebody always talks. I always hear somebody talk about this, and I 100% agree with it. The Gus fight. Gus was 6'4", 6'5", same size as him, same reach. John Jones 23, freaking Shogun up, showing him who's a legend, fucking him up with the flying knee. He was impressive. It was very impressive, don't get me wrong. But look at the age of these guys. Where did they fight before? What have they been through at that point in their careers? These guys were not the best in the world at that point anymore. You know what I mean? They went through a stage in the 2000s when they were the fucking best guys, running through everybody, killing each other. Yeah, he's a freak athlete. Look at his fucking family. He's got 2 NFL players as his brothers. But Gustafsson, dude, the one time he fights somebody who's of similar size as him, who's like a good fighter and not just Ovin St. Preux, he had a lot of trouble. Daniel was old when Jones beat him. I mean, how old was Shogun? Shogun's 43, right? and that was 12 years ago. So 31, 32, Rampage, 78. How old is he then? 25. Quentin's almost 50. I mean, we're talking like mid-30s. Lyoto, 46. I mean, again, mid-30s when he's fighting these guys. He's not fighting prime fighters, obviously light heavyweight, but all those guys have been through so many wars. Why do people say Mighty Mouse is the GOAT? Because he's got the record for most title defenses, probably. I think he's up there. I don't give him the GOAT status because of the competition at 125 at the time just wasn't there. The longevity, though, for Mighty Mouse is very impressive. Wasn't on steroids, didn't get popped. Silva popped. John Jones popped. Embarrassed Rampage. Dude, he embarrassed and obliterated all these legends. That's why people think he's the GOAT. And again, he may be. I'm not the definitive opinion here. But I just look at who he was fighting, and these guys were all not really full-size 205ers like they are now. There was nobody of the size. Yeah, but Mighty Mouse has fought the level of competition of GSP. I'd argue he didn't, though. Like, they had to put on an Ultimate Season fighter just to get somebody to fight Demetrius Johnson. I love DJ. Love him to death. Definitely a top 10 fighter all time, in my opinion. He's definitely right there, but the competition, maybe that's what you're saying. Maybe you misspelled that one. But yeah, GSP and John Jones were fighting a much higher caliber level of fighter, but I just think that John Jones' resume, very good, very impressive what he did. The finish over Stipe was very impressive, but it's much the same. These guys are so much older, downturn of their careers, taking so much damage, and then he fights them. Had trouble with Gus. The fight with DC was not all one-way traffic 100% of the time. Definitely beat him up. DC had his moments, though. Glover got fucked up, too. DC got fucked up in the second fight. Fucked up OSP pretty bad. But it was close, man. Like, and then I cannot allow and just move past the fact that Anthony Smith, close decision. Thiago Santos, split decision. Dominic Reyes, he fucking lost that fight, man. So you beat up a bunch of legends, dominate them. It's very impressive, but how old were they? How much damage are they taking up to that point? You almost lose to Alexander Gustafsson, who, what the fuck did he do afterwards? Great stuff. Love Gus. But, I mean, he didn't go on to dominate everybody at light heavyweight. Then he, close decision over Anthony Smith, almost loses the belt in that one. Thiago Santos can't beat up Thiago Santos on literally both knees blown out. I mean, what the fuck are we doing there? Dominic Reyes loses the fight to Dominic Reyes. Takes out Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane obviously sucks on the ground. You just said it yourself. And then Stipe's fucking 40,000 years old. Looks like he's moving around there as a 65-year-old. Embarrassing that they drug Stipe out for that one. Impressive finishes, no doubt. But I feel like there's always some kind of stipulation in almost every single fight except for the DC fights and the Gus fights. But then there is something wrong with those fights because he popped for that fight with DC, said that he was on coke for the fucking Gustafsson fight. He smashed Smith. How the fuck do you take Anthony Smith to a fucking decision, though? That's what I'm talking about. They're getting destroyed. A lot of these guys got dominated. That's not what I'm saying. But it's hard for me to say that there wasn't some kind of stipulation. There isn't some kind of, denotation with each one of these wins in large portions of his career. It's hard for me to just say, like Dana White, that, oh, this guy's the fucking GOAT no matter what. Dude did great shit. Fucking impressive performances. Absolutely killer MMA fighter. Right? Mixes up the martial arts. It's what I love to see. Can't get enough of it. But I cannot just say that John Jones, without question, is the GOAT. I cannot say that. Cannot say it. Brandon Vera is no slouch. Stephan Bonner. Andre Guzmão. I mean, dude beat the great legend Parker Porter. I mean, that should automatically boost you right into the GOAT conversation. But that's what I'm talking about. Beat Ryan Bader. Like, his resume is unlike any you will ever see and likely ever see again. It's never going to happen. You're never going to beat these legends of the past. You're never going to beat the legends of his time. And you're never going to beat the legends of the future, some of which he did. But Dominic Reyes, Thiago Santos, Anthony Smith are not going to go down as legends, let's be honest. I just think he lost the Dominic Reyes fight. It was close. It was close. And the fact that he's been doing it for so long is so impressive. But I just cannot give him he's the definitive GOAT, no question, no debate. Here's John Jones. Questions, no more questions asked. I'm not going to take any debate with this one. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Fought a lot of these guys who were smaller than him, moving up a weight class. Fought a lot of these guys after they'd taken such beatings in pride. Come on. To deny that it's impressive, that's stupid. To deny that John Jones did a lot of impressive stuff. Of course, I'm not denying that. It's just, is he the best? I can't say that definitively. You can make arguments to me. You could try to convince me. And I won't say you're wrong, because it's close. The steroid thing I also have a big issue with. That kind of stuff pisses me off. DJ never popped. That's why DJ's up there, you know. But his resume is not on the same level of some of these other guys. Those flyweights the last 15 years just not. The division's not the same as a GSP running through the gauntlet at welterweight. Somebody like Habib's in there. I just don't. If you want to put Conor on a Mount Rushmore because of what he did for the sport, I'm okay with that. Beating Aldo, Eddie Alvarez, Chad Mendez, coming up through the gauntlet of guys. Dustin Poirier. I get it. If you want to do that, that's fine. But somebody like a Habib, I think Habib has a better resume than Conor McGregor at this point. I mean, Nate Diaz, But if you want to talk about how much he did for the sport, I'm totally fine with you putting Conor McGregor on a Mount Rushmore. I just think Habib, the longevity isn't there. It's different. It's hard to say that when you dominate a couple fights, does that then put you over a John Jones? I don't know. Does that put you over a GSP who did it for a long time? Does that put you over an Anderson Silva? Anderson Silva's resume, same thing. A lot of guys in there that how, legendary, how good are they in the long run? Somebody like an Ilia Topuria. Habib doesn't have a lot of fights, but comes in here and beats some of the best guys ever. RDA. Michael Johnson. Edson. Ali Quinton. Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, RDA, Michael Johnson, Edson Barboza. Who's he missing on there? Of course, Tony. Always going to be the questionable one there. It's just like how much, in hindsight, do we think Tony could have done anything? I don't know. Habib, I feel like, is definitely, and I can say this, and I'll explain. I think he's overrated. I think that people think he's the GOAT. A lot of people think he's the GOAT. He's the greatest. He did all this stuff. I mean, he didn't do very much. Didn't fight very much. The quality of wins is some of the best you'll see. But the amount that he held, here, the amount of fights he had, the amount of legendary fighters he fought, it's not on the same level as some other guys. Okay? Very good, though. I can say he's overrated by a little bit. I think he's a little overrated. I think it's hard for many hardcore fans to deny that. 29-0, but like, who's he beating? Guys that don't even show up. 0-1. 2-3. Shamil Abdul-Rahimov. That's not him, but all right. Give him the picture anyway because his name's close enough. 0-1. I mean, you know, it's like the boxing resume we got here. 0-1, 0-1, 0-1. That's not very impressive. That's not a good look. Somebody like an Alex Pereira who came in and fought legitimate guys in the LFA, moved over, came over to the UFC, fought legit guys in the UFC, made his way up to the title. He's going to have probably less than 20 fights in MMA to end his career. And to have the quality of wins that he has, insane. Same thing with Ilia Topuria. Did he fight a couple of bums to get his career going? Obviously, everybody does. 0-6, man. But Khabib fought like 10 of them. And then they say like 29-0 is so impressive. But if 10 of those wins are against guys that are 0-1, 1-3, like Ilia Topuria fighting one or two guys with 0-6 records, like, obviously you're going to fight a couple of those guys. And of course, these guys only have these fights in here on big promotions, 10-4. So he had a couple of warm-up fights, right? Let's say he had a couple of warm-up fights, but then I'm supposed to think Khabib is so much better because he had 29 fights as opposed to 16. But you had 2 or 3 times as many warm-up fights against bums who never do anything for the rest of their careers. That's not super impressive. But a Yusuf Zalal, look at what he's doing now. Unanimous decision. Short notice. Damon Jackson. Got a couple of good wins now, Damon Jackson does. Ryan Hall, stud on the ground. Jai Herbert almost knocks him out. Dude's so much bigger than he was. 2 30-year-olds fighting for the LFA. Light heavyweight title right now. Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell's got great wins. Josh Emmett. Heavy-handed, super dangerous. Volk. One of the best to ever do it at featherweight. Arguably the best to ever do it at featherweight. And then Max Holloway. By knockout. Before the halfway mark in these fights. That's crazy. And so, again, with the Khabib thing, you can either go for the longevity or you can do the Alex Pereira, Khabib, and Topuria thing where it's the quality of wins adding up. If he fucking knocks out Islam Makhachev and he goes Volk by knockout, Max by knockout, Islam by knockout, if that's what he does, greatest 3-fight run of all time, no question, could easily cement himself as one of the GOATs of the sport just with those 3 wins alone. Nobody else would have ever done anything like that, and likely nobody else will do any shit like that ever again. Much like what Alex Pereira is doing. Dude is running through the gauntlet, middleweight, light heavyweight, potential to move up to heavyweight. If he fucking moved up to heavyweight and he starched at Tom Aspinall or a John Jones, how do you say that guy's not on your Mount Rushmore of MMA fighters and he's only had 12 or 13 MMA fights? That's insane. Ilia Topuria to win over Volk, Holloway, and Islam potentially via knockout. That would be fucking crazy. Fucking crazy. Unheard of. How do you not put that on a Mount Rushmore? Did he do it as long as John Jones? Did he do it as long as GSP? As long as an Anderson Silva? No. But man for man, quality of opponent per quality of opponent, those guys are some of the best to ever do it. And to take them out by a finish, by knockout, One-hitter quitter? Dude. That is GOAT shit if I've ever seen it. Just saying. Just saying. And Alex Pereira's doing a very similar thing. Are they the same level of caliber? No. But look at how few fights he has. 12-2. Beats Israel Adesanya. Loses to Izzy. Beats Blachowicz, one of the best at light heavyweight right now. Beats Yuri Prochazka twice. Jamal Hill. Khalil Roundtree. Not guys that are ever going to go down as the best fighters of all time. But he's racking up wins, racking up championship wins. Sean Strickland, in hindsight, great win. Quality of fights, quality of opponents, that is taken into account. You don't have to have 50 fights to be the GOAT. You don't have to have 50 fights to be considered a GOAT, necessarily. You can't just have a lot of fights, have a lot of wins, necessarily. If you're beating up a bunch of bums, that doesn't weigh as heavily as somebody like an Alex Pereira who's getting in here, has 6-7 fights, jumping right into a title shot in the UFC, biggest organization, best guys in the world. What are we doing here? Shouldn't even be a conversation. This guy's one of the best to do it. He's proving that his skill, his martial art, is more dominant than the others. Andreas Michailidis. The guy shoots a lot of takedowns, wrestling style. Takes down Pereira. First round, not so great. Comes back out, asserts his will on the feet, knocks him out in vicious fashion. That's impressive. That's good stuff. These guys are fucking trading in the LFA right now. Hammering away on the ground. 30-year-old in the LFA. Scrapping it out. This is a good fight right here in the light heavyweight division. Sean Shelby's there scouting these guys out. So far on the card, been kind of meh. But this main event, these guys are throwing hands. Love it. Suarez kind of just sitting there on the cage. Mark Smith, referee, will he jump in? Beltran on the outside, I see him there. Ooh, big elbow landed somewhere. Big right hand. Suarez is beat up, man. Mouthpiece, put it back in. He doesn't even know he's missing his mouthpiece. Says, Mark, you put it in my mouth for me, buddy. Oh, these guys are trading, man. Great fight. LFA main event right now. Suarez coming back, taking shots. He's got the power of the Mexican/Latino/Hispanic chin. Dude's a legend in there. Taking huge fucking shots and throwing bombs backwards. Both guys cut open under the eyes. Trading left hooks. Knee to the body fails by Suarez. He gets dumped on the ground. Holy moly. One of the best rounds you'll ever see. LFA right now. Woo. Boy, is it late for fights, but damn, this is awesome. Dudes are slugging it out. Not the most technical, talented, skillful guys you'll ever see, but damn, they're fighting hard, man. Good for these guys. Get in there. Get shit done. Clean up. Impress the UFC guys. I don't like guys getting in here when they're over 30 years old, but these guys do not look like fat slobs, which I'll take. And they look like they're willing to actually throw down and slang and bang a little bit in the UFC. Let them in. I don't care, man. Light heavyweight, heavyweight, so shallow. Such shallow divisions. Not fun to watch at times in the lower rankings. These guys are fun, though. They're throwing, man. And Sadi Baldiev seems like he's competent on the ground, going for a submission here, but likely not going to lock anything up before the end of the round. I'm impressed. Liked it. Good round. Hard fought there for the boys. Hard fought for the guys there. LFA main event. All right. First round's over. Second round coming up. Suarez comes forward, throws big shots, hurts him. Rocks Sadi Belayev. Both guys landed huge shots in the first round. Hell of a round. They both just went for it all the way down to the bell. Can they keep it up in the second round? I don't know. Paige Van Zandt, Austin Vanderford in attendance. Start of the second round coming up soon. Coming up soon. Here we go. There's the boys for LFA. They're fucking throwing it down, man. This is good shit. See if they can keep it up or what's going to happen here. Oh, immediately goes to the calf there. Suarez takes down Sadi Baldiev. He looks tired, man. Gets the takedown, though, over Suarez. Suarez off his back. Let's see if we can get up. A couple of smacks to the back of the head. Nicely and smartly placed there. Ooh, Sadi Baldiev got him cut open somewhere bad. Or is he just leaking all over him? It's hard to say. I wasn't paying attention there for a minute. Checking out MMA Guru stuff. We'll see what's going on there maybe in a few minutes. Guess he was live for a little bit. Anyway, back to the LFA. Somebody's leaking pretty good now. Somebody's leaking. Scrapping it out on the ground. Sati Belaev's on top. Let's see MMA Joey. He was live earlier as well. Nothing going on there. Nothing at all. Oh, big elbow by Sadi Belayev. He's got him cut open on the forehead again. Can he keep it up, though? He's looking a little tired. Suarez just looks out of it, man. He doesn't know what to do on the ground, man. That's the give and take of the regional promotions here, I guess, a little bit sometimes. Now, I don't believe I've seen either of these guys fight, and if I have, I do not remember. Sadi Baldiev kind of working towards an arm triangle, gets up, stands up out of it. Tries to rain down some blows. Nothing really lands of significance. Kimura lock. I don't think he's got anything. 2 minutes left in the round. Second round. It's been fun on the ground. Nope. Gives up on the Kimura. Doesn't have anything. Suarez gets back up to the feet, starts swinging immediately. Taking no chances. Sadi Baldiev's just very, very light on his feet here. Does not have a lot of stature to stand on. Not strong-footed, but he throws a big elbow. Suarez gets his own takedown here. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is great stuff. Fun fight. All action, back and forth. LFA, round 2, main event. Sadi Baldiev looking good. Sora's hanging tough, though. That's what we'd like to see. Fight hard. Fight clean. Don't break the rules. Just scrap it out. Five-round main event. I don't know if these guys can keep it up. There is no way this is going 5 rounds. If it does, this is going to be a rough ride. A rough, rough ride. That's for sure. Soares on top, half guard. Couple of chippy elbow shots in there. Not bad, not bad. Keep it going. Hammer into the body a little bit. Couple of elbows on the forehead. Nothing significant. End of the round there. Wow. Wow. I'm impressed. Guys are throwing down. But can they keep it up? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if they can keep up. We got a goofy hat guy from Kyrgyzstan or somewhere over there. One of the stands. And Soares. Good old North or South American of some sort. Gets sliced open on the forehead, immediately gushes blood. Second round. Not as good as the first, but fun scrambles on the ground, back and forth, throwing shots. Big calf kicks landed by Soares. Each getting a takedown. Neither very good off their back. This is going to get really sloppy if we get into the 4th and 5th rounds. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that much. Third round, though. Somebody might get finished here. We'll see. Mark Smith, referee. Lets him go. Soares comes forward. Lands a calf kick. 1-2, 1-2. Nothing really lands. Left hook. Big knee to the body. Sadi Belayev immediately shooting in. Soares goes for the guillotine. Gives up position. Now he's on his back. Elbowing the back of the head. Both guys bleeding pretty good here. Definitely just a slop fest at this point. This is not going to get any more technical. This is not an Ilya Topuria, Max Holloway, or Volkanovski over 5 rounds. These guys are sloppy. Fun to watch for sure, but just can't survive the 10, 15-minute wars. They got 5, 6, 7 minutes in them, and that's pretty much it. But we'll see. They can prove me wrong. They still got time. Position over submission battle here. We'll see how it plays out. Super sweaty, super bloody here. These guys are just making a mess of the canvas in there. Soares trying to hip up and get out of there. Just having no luck at all. Sadi Belayev keeps going for this Kimura. but it's just not. This is better. Ooh, ooh. Soares kind of screams out in pain a little bit there. Doesn't tap, but makes a noise. Not good. Mark Smith jumps in there, stops the fight. Third round Kimura submission by Sadi Baldiev. Pretty impressive there, considering how high-paced the first round is. Second round, lots of grappling, pretty high pace on the ground, high pace on the feet in the first one. And then in the second round, high pace on the ground. Third round, the guy looks exhausted, Sadi Baldiev does. Gets the Kimura submission after Soares screams out in pain. Doesn't look broken, doesn't look too damaged, but just a painful submission. That Kimura is very nasty. Put him behind the back. Didn't even need to step over anything. Clean finish after these guys slugged it out. Absolute war in the first and second rounds. He did tap out. Did not see that on camera on the first angle, but he does tap out with his left hand. Ah, that's deep, man. Hopefully it did not break. Hopefully the guy can get back in there and fight some more guys. Both these guys fun to watch. They threw down when they needed to. I'll say that, man. Good stuff by the guys. Are they world champion caliber fighters? Are they going to be world-class caliber fighters? Are they going to be top 10 caliber fighters? Are they going to be top 5 caliber fighters in the UFC? Very unlikely. But that was a fun fight. Good while it lasted. Rest of the card, But that's regional MMA for you. Very hit or miss. Sometimes you see great prospects. Sometimes you see a bunch of fucking bums. Tonight, overall, not impressed with the card, but these two guys showed up and made the main event worth it. Made staying up late for the card wherever you live in America. This one was a late one. Started at 11 p.m. Las Vegas this time. Obviously, lots of fighters here. Patricio made an appearance. Merab, Sean O'Malley. Lots of fighters in town for UFC 313. They came and hung out at the LFA fights tonight. Great stuff. Hilarious hat for Sadi Baldiev. Soares talking to the camera, trying to get on mic, tell his family he loves him or something like that. Looks a little bit angry, I don't know. But he did tap, did give it up. Kimura submission for Sadi Baldiev. Mark Smith jumps in there, stops it. Verbal submission partially as well. So we'll see if either of these guys eventually make their way to the UFC. 30 years old, light heavyweight. Might be able to get away with it. I don't like signing the guys that are over 30, though. Not a big fan of that, but we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it all shakes out. But what do you guys think about this stuff? Let me know if you're watching this after the fact. Did you like the card? Did you watch the card? Uran Sadi Baldiev retains the light heavyweight title for the LFA. UFC up next. Will he be on the Contender Series later this year? We will have to wait and see. Anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. UFC 313 weigh-ins tomorrow morning. UFC 314 press conference tomorrow night. UFC 313 face-offs after that. And then UFC 313 big, huge pay-per-view. Couple of good fights on that one. Can't wait to watch it Saturday night. And One Championship also has an event tomorrow morning, plus a couple of other events going on. KSW or Octagon may also have events on Saturday afternoon, so stay tuned for those across all the channels. Catch up on all this action. Combat sports, lots of good stuff to look forward to. We'll see you guys next time.